Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. We're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy saying ho, ho, ho. We're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Oh, yeah. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as we walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Yeah, a Merry Christmas Day. Dance around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas. Dance around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas. Dance around the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas Day.
Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that intro. I just thought it'd be fun to have something like that to kick off with for this live stream. Also, I know I've heard from people before that when the way YouTube works with their ads, by the time they send out notifications and people are trying to join, and then they end up missing the first part of it while they're waiting to get logged on. If you enjoyed that, I have a similar one for an outro when we get done, but it's a little bit different. The video is a little different. But thank you to everyone who's logging on and joining tonight. First time I've ever done anything like this. I was decided to do something different this year. So I didn't know how many people would be free on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, and but figured what the heck, we'll give it a try. I got to give a couple of quick shout outs here. Rich Mountains. Rich left the first comment. Talk about early commenter. Rich was on here yesterday afternoon, I think around 5:45, leaving a comment. So thanks for being the first up here, Rich. Let's see. And I got to give a huge shout out to I don't know who else is on here. I see some of you commenting, but I don't know who else all is on. But my daughter and my two oldest granddaughters are joining tonight watching. So that's a lot of fun to have them on. Hopefully they don't get bored. I think they probably liked that intro though. That's up their alley if I'm not mistaken. Uh, I got to share though, just a few minutes ago, getting ready to set up. I'm setting up the lights and everything, counting down. And my daughter texts me and says, the girls are all set up and counting down the minutes until you go live. And then she writes a second comment. Haley, my oldest granddaughter, just asked me if I even understand what live means. So, kids these days, you know. All right. Well, and I'll say too, hopefully the internet all holds up. I am in quartzite, and that's, you know, internet here is questionable sometimes, but it's been pretty good the last few days. So hopefully that all stays good. I tested the bandwidth again right before I started. It looks good. So fingers crossed. So thanks again to everybody that's joining on. I see a whole bunch of people. I've been able to chat with some of you before we actually started. Rich is commenting on the time zipping away at the top. I thought that was kind of fun, both to let people know how much long was left on the intro before we officially started, but also I even left the hundredths counter on there because I just thought it looked kind of cool spinning by so fast. But there's a lot of Merry Christmas there. Merry Christmas to all of you. Katie in New Hampshire. I lived in New Hampshire when I was a kid, and I definitely know how it can be cold and snowy. Upstate New York then for 20 years. And then a while back, I lived in Vermont for a winter. I forget what they call it, the middle of Vermont, across from near Dartmouth, Hitchcock. So I forget the name of the town. Lebanon, across from Lebanon, New Hampshire. And boy, I thought winter was never going to end. We were well into April and still had feet of snow up there. It was something. Thanks, Rebecca. That's I forget to use these lights sometimes, but I just put new batteries in them today, so they'd be lit up back there. Because what I find is that if I got like lights on the desk to light up me, which I probably need to adjust again here, the shelf and stuff is really dark, so I put those lights on to light that up a little bit. I just thinking earlier they got it. This one comes with batteries, but I think I'm figured out I'm going to convert that to USB, so I don't have to worry about batteries for it. But nice and festive that way anyways. So yes, gotta love grandkids. That's they are bring me much joy. Yeah, Brenda, the YouTube premiere countdown is annoying, and unfortunately they don't give you any control on that. You're just stuck with them doing their thing there. So no, it might have been Norwich. No, I think it might very well have been. I should look it up again. It's we were only there for like 4 or 6 months. Whole long story, but yeah, we were there through the winter anyways, and whew, boy, serious winter. Oh no, this I did not know. Okay, that's fun. I might have known it when I lived there, but I didn't remember it. But cute little town anyway. They had a really awesome general store. I used to love walking up and visiting that, the old wide plank board floor that creaks and groans as you walk around, and that was fun anyway. So, and some of you commented on the graphic I did for the thumbnail here. That's actually based to Christmas in the Desert. That's just a humorous thing that's kind of based on a graphic I originally did a few years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago now. And anyways, it was just a fun thing. So yeah, I apparently there's girls that tell my granddaughters told me they're not sure if they're gonna have snow for Christmas tomorrow because it hasn't snowed in a long time, but it has been cold enough. What they got like a week ago was still hanging around there. So Steve, thanks for joining tonight. Let's see. I hope you all are like conversational, because I have normally I do like live because I try and have plenty of things written down to talk about, but I got kind of a short list as you can see here. So if you all don't have a lot to talk about, it might be kind of quiet. Like one of those road trips where nobody talks for a while. But anyways, I ended up doing this thing. Obviously, maybe I was alone in the desert this year for Christmas. I've gone back 2 years or 3 years. I've gone back to Wyoming, and I did think about it this year between the price of gas and the van's getting a lot of miles on it, and just hey, adjust the lighting. I'm kind of no, it is this side. Okay, let me get this side a little brighter. I'm kind of uneven. Okay, see if that's any better. Anyway, so I didn't, and it was also for a while. I had all four of my kids and all of my grandkids were in Wyoming, and then my one son and his family moved back to upstate New York, and then my youngest son is down in Texas with his wife visiting her family this holiday. So everybody's kind of scattered all over the place. So I ended up just sitting still and thinking I'm alone this year, and I'll be on the phone half the day tomorrow talking to people. It's not any big thing, but probably a lot of other people have nothing going on for around Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so decided to do these live streams. And speaking of which, we will have another one. I'm doing another one next week on New Year's Eve, same time and everything, live on New Year's Eve, December 31st, starting at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and maybe we'll see if we can make it till the ball drops or something in New York. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. I had a note here. Let's see. Okay, so Christmas in the desert. Anyways, yeah, it is a little of a bummer. I was talking with somebody earlier that there's no snow. I mean, I'm a Yankee, grew up, born and raised in New England, so and then lived in upstate New York for 20 years, then in Montana and Wyoming. So, yeah, snow at Christmas time is just a must for me. So it's always a little hard to get in the holiday spirit when there's no snow on the ground and it's warm. But it hasn't been that warm here, so that's but let's see. I'm going to check up on some of these comments here. Oh, we go. Brandon asking, in particular reason I didn't get to Wyoming for Christmas. Hopefully next year I'll do that again. I'm actually hoping to something, doing some things different next winter. So we'll see how that all evolves and shakes out. But I know my granddaughters would really like me to be there for Christmas, and my oldest granddaughter, her birthday is just after Christmas, so she'd really like me to be there for her birthday. And then another one is in April and in May and in July. But then the second of the youngest, she's 3. Her birthday's in January, and we did go up when she was born. Made a trip, left. We were at the RTR, left there early, raced up, made it in about 24 hours. Ended up with horrific snowstorm. I mean, going up I-25, we went across 80 and then up I-25, and they were literally closing the highway behind us. It was snowing so bad in a cargo van, but we made it. Ended up staying a week or two because it was just the weather was just so bad. Didn't want to drive back down in it. But so anyways, she's got the thing from her oldest cousin, and she's been asking me since the middle of the summer, Pops, are you coming back for my birthday? I'm like, I'm not even leaving for 3 months. Why are we talking about when I'm coming back? But anyway, and yeah, her birthday's in January, so that's either I have to go up for Christmas and stay for like a month, or back and forth. I don't know. That makes it tough. That's a challenging one. But I did not make it up this year. Just fuel prices in the old van and people being so scattered, anyways, that it would have been more tempting if everybody was going to be there. Yes, yeah, I will definitely fire up some cooking videos soon. I had a lot of comments like on that Bannock video. People wonder if I'd make something about that. So, okay, in South Dakota, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining. Oh, yeah, Carrie says, raining in Phoenix. So wet Christmas instead of white. That brings me out. We're going to come right back very soon and pick up with the comments where we left off, but I wanted to share a couple things while we're at it. I was thinking today, I was talking today, we had rain. Let me see, where are we? Okay. There we go. This was this morning here in Quartzsite. I was thinking this is a wet winter, not a white winter. Definitely. You see it really coming down. And all I could think as that was coming down was, boy, if this was a little colder here, it was in the 50s, but if it was a little colder here to make that was snow, I mean, we would have a white Christmas for sure, because there was a lot of moisture came down. So we did. Then we got weird this afternoon. I mean, look at these clouds. This was like wild. The wind picked up on like a southwest, and some really cool scout views all directions. That was like maybe the coolest one there for a while. And we ended up with a cool sunset too. Not like again, not an epic one, but it was pretty nice. So, okay, let me hop back to comments here for a minute 'cause I know I'm missing stuff. Um, on Pat's camping in the Florida. Yeah, I've been to Florida, several times, and I've been to Florida once a few years ago since I was on the road full time. But I didn't get to stay long. We had to hurry back to the Midwest or to the Mountain West. Um, so I need to go back there again sometime for sure. Uh, I have a bunch of friends who have gone for the last 2 years to Howl at the Moon, and I have never made it down to one. So maybe I should do that this year. I only learned just recently that apparently there are two or three of them, I think, or something this year. There's several, anyways. I thought it was like a one-time thing, but that might be fun to get down to. Oh, Rebecca's experienced only one white Christmas. I was visiting Chicago and arrived a couple days early. No snow. Then Christmas Eve is snow. That's really cool when it snows on Christmas Eve. That's just, I know half the country or a third of the country or whatever is used to having Christmas without snow, but it's so baked into our cultural traditions. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas and all the rest that there's just something magical when it snows on Christmas Eve like that, especially if it's a good snow. Everything looks so clean and fresh and soft. And uh, oh, Brenda's New Year's Eve is her birthday. All right, well, we'll have to. Well, I don't know if I'll sing happy birthday to you. We'll definitely say happy birthday to you on the New Year's Eve live. You might not want me singing. Oh, Woods World Nomad, first winter snowbirding alone in the desert. Yeah, I've been coming down here. This is my seventh winter coming down here, and some of them have been longer and some have been shorter in terms of how long I stayed. But it's my seventh season, I guess you'd call it, coming down, winter season coming down here. And this is the first one down here. No, well, first Christmas alone down here because the very first year I came down, I left right after Christmas, so I'm like the 28th or 29th and headed down. So I was actually in Wyoming for that Christmas. Then 2 or 3 of the years I went back, and then in the other years I was with people down here. So this is the first one I'm soloing it. I should say I have plenty of friends in the area who I could have gone and camped with. So it's not like I'm like stuck with, I couldn't be with somebody if I wanted to, but I thought this would be a fun Christmas Eve. And then when we get into like tomorrow, I'm going to spend half the day on the phone between phone calls and text messages and FaceTime calls and family spread across Wyoming and Texas and New York and Massachusetts, and so I'll be on the phone a lot tomorrow, and after that I'll just enjoy some downtime. So it's I definitely could have camped with people if I know. So this is when I say I'm alone, I'm not like complaining or anything. I could do something different. I could have gone to Wyoming if I wanted to as well. So. Next Christmas, I'm driving in the snow. I had to put on a sunblock today. Boy, is that not the truth? Yeah. 79 in Oklahoma City today. My goodness, we were 75 yesterday, but we had pretty consistent cloud cover. We had a lot of clouds this year, so it's been kind of unusual that way. I just stepped outside a few minutes ago to get some eggnog out of the van because the fridge in the van in the trailer works fine on AC, but it does not work on gas. It doesn't have a 12-volt option. I think the control board's out in it. I haven't got around to messing with it, but it's old. It's 25-year-old fridge. But so I keep everything in the van fridge, which works fine, honestly, just not quite as big. But I stepped outside anyways. It had gotten dark, and between the cloud cover and the full moon there, or nearly full moon for a bit, I haven't been able to see a lot of stars. I stepped out. It is just glorious night sky tonight. The stars are so bright. This black, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere with nobody around. So there's, the nearest light pollution is coming out of Quartzsite, several miles north of here. So not too bad. Yeah, that is hard when you just can't see everybody. I grew up in a really close-knit family, and everybody got together for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and later as the family grew and it got harder to do that, we had we've shifted to Memorial Day. We do the long everybody was available for Memorial Day weekend, so we do a Friday to Monday family reunion in upstate New York, and that was a lot of fun. And eventually, even that got hard to get everybody together for. But it's definitely hard around the holidays when you can't get together with everybody. Oh, K and K and SD. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and the same to you and your family as well. It was really windy this afternoon. My granddaughter FaceTiming, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Oh, just rocking and rolling here in the trailer, you know. Yeah, that is hard. I was the first time I was down in the desert and didn't make it up. That was definitely hard. It's still hard. It's not. I mean, I just would like to be there, but they're spread out pretty good this year. So maybe next year I can pull it off. So. And I think I said South Dakota. I know better. But then I didn't want to correct it and I didn't leave it up to you if you want to identify where you're actually at. But thanks, Brenda. Those are just a few I've snapped recently. The landscape down here, I mean, it's interesting in some ways, but it gets kind of the same looking. I suppose you get the blue skies all the time, and it's just, we don't get snow-capped mountains or anything like that. So when we get the clouds, it does make things a lot more interesting, or scenery. So, New Hampshire's got 6 inches of snow on the ground and an ice storm tomorrow. Oh, that is nasty. I don't miss the sleet and ice storms and that kind of things. Oh, Rich is in San Diego too. I just saw the SD and said South Dakota. But yeah, I actually know that. I just was a little brain burp going on. So. Debra and Glass on her way to courtside. It is not as crowded this year as usual. I don't know if that'll change after Christmas. Sometimes, I mean, there is usually an influx after Christmas and around the New Year. January is definitely the busiest month, but everybody I've talked to has said the same opinion, that there are not as many people here as normal so far. There's definitely a lot of people, but it's nothing like usual. So. Oh no, you got me on this one. I don't actually know. I'm not sure. Yes, Brenda's don't. Choosing to be alone is quite different than wanting to be around people, and you don't have anyone to celebrate with. That is 100% true. And I just wanted to clarify that because I know there are people maybe on here, but certainly there are a lot of people in the world who want to be with others and either don't have that option or don't have the option for one reason or another, whether whatever kind of circumstances. But I definitely could have gone and hung out with people, but it's just I'm going to be busy tomorrow with talking to family and connecting with people that way, and so it's easier just to stay put. But I could have done something different. And then next year I may go back to Wyoming. Hopefully I'll go back to be in Wyoming for Christmas next year. Yes, I was just thinking that earlier, that at least we're getting longer days now. It's like, and especially with a cloud cover we've been having down here, it's like it doesn't really get bright until fairly late, and then it's dark so early. And I've gotten to where in my old age here, once it starts getting dark, I work all day, and then when it gets dark, like by the time it gets dark, I might work a little while past dark, but I'm kind of like I'm a pumpkin then, And I was camped with some friends for a while when I first got to quartzsite, and it's like they'd all do a campfire every night, and I'm like, it's dark, I'm tired, I don't want to go out again now. Summertime, man, I can go, till midnight, no problem. But this time of year, I'm just, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, we were a really close family, so it was always a very good time to get together. And back in the day, of course, this is where we had, social media and FaceTime and all those things. And so if you had family lived in a different state or even the other side of the state, long distance phone calls and everything to get in touch with people. So that was that once or twice a year where everybody get together and reconnect and all that stuff. So it was always a good experience for me. But everybody's scattered so far now that. I gotta get after my kids. Julie, if you're watching still, you gotta come to me. Actually, Julie has come down a couple times to Arizona during the winter and brought the girls down. So that's been I was able to go and meet up with them when they did that. So that was a lot of fun both times. And I keep telling her the girls love rocks, and so I keep saying, Julie, you got to send the girls down to visit in the winter because they just be walking around in circles collecting pretty rocks from the desert. But then you need a dump truck to bring them back to Wyoming. They collect so many. And yeah, that timeless freedom here. Traveled last summer for 2 months. Timing was wrong. Winter nomading, there's definitely something to be said for it because if you come over to like the desert, we can get some cold nights. We get a few days. Sometimes we get days that aren't like really all that great, but cold in the day is usually still 50s, and so it's not bad. In the last few years, and last year in particular, was brutal for. I did not get out near as much as I would have liked because I was just holed up in the trailer with the air conditioning running because it was in the 90s for like 3 months, 3.5 months straight. We almost had hardly a break from it. So this was a tough year for summer nomad traveling around, unless you really had the latitude to get up in some high elevation. But even then, it was still pretty warm a lot of times. So it was a tough year. I think probably it is easier if you're going to do a few months a year. Probably the winter is easier in terms of coming because and there's so many places to camp in the desert. It's not a hard time to find places. You can kind of hunker down, travel as much or as little as you wanted, and save some gas if you want, whatever. So. Yeah, I'm keeping everybody up right with it. I mentioned in when the announcements I did the text announcements, but yeah, I scheduled this to start at 8 Mountain Time, my time, but it's 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and the reason I did that was because twofold. But basically it was because Debra Dickinson has her Friday Night Live on Fridays, although she did end up canceling tonight. But that's it, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, and so I didn't want to have it. Usually she's done in an hour or less, but I didn't want to have a chance of any overlap if she was did the lives and was on longer than an hour, like sometimes happens. So that's why I did the timing I did, and of course I've got viewers all across the U.S. and Canada, so the time zones are always a challenge. And then I've even got viewers in the UK and Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, which of course is the U.S., but different time zones. So it's just no way to do a live stream this good timing for everybody. So it's kind of like, well, hopefully this timing works and this works out for enough people. Yeah, I found the minivan is really convenient when you're traveling. Well, I did that for more than a year, but I as doing it full time, especially with like carrying camera gear and needing space to work for an office and everything, I ended up upgrading just a trailer, of course. But especially if you're doing like part time and traveling a lot, that's definitely a way to save a lot of gas and have an easy time getting around. Oh, thanks for subscribing. I was actually in La Posa, South for a bit, a week or week and a half, something like that, visit friends. But I ended up moving up to North because partly for the cell coverage is better, at least on Verizon. So that was a challenge down there. So it was a little better for me up here. And also just I found a nice remote spot because I do a lot of photography and being able to step out of the trailer and do shoot in different directions for sunset or sunrise or clouds or whatever is going on. There's not as many vehicles around, so the spot I was at in South was getting hard. It was actually hard to get photos any direction because it was just people all around. So So that, but thanks for subscribing. And, you know, you always gonna say, I was gonna say too, I got distracted with a text message, but I do go back to um, south to take advantage of the dump station and stuff. But fortunately, I got pretty good tanks on this trailer, so if I'm careful, I can stretch it out for at least a couple of weeks. That was something I was concerned about when I was hitting the road with this thing. Oh yeah, and then to Colorado. I need on my list to get over to the. I was working on a list the other day, literally of some places I can get some interesting photos around here. Leave camp and get some interesting photos. And that's one of them was along the Colorado River. Just got to decide which spot to head to. It definitely can be challenging. Yeah, that fortunate, that three of my kids at least, and four of the grandkids are in Wyoming, so that they happen to be in the part of the country I like spending time in. I wouldn't mind if Wyoming was a little cooler in the summer, but Brenda, I will be at the RTR this year. Plans at this point are for me to be doing some flying the drone. Now that I went and got my license, so I can do that commercially. So that is my main plan for work while I'm at the RTR. But I will be there, so I would assume that'll put me there every day. Then obviously not for the WRTR, but I think the 7, 8 days of the RTR, I should be there every day as far as I know. So yeah, so any of you are there, definitely, say hello if you see me around. If I'm free, I'll hang out and chat for a bit, but if not, I'd at least like to say hello before if I have to get back to work. If I am flying the drone, I can't really talk. I have to, but grab me as soon as I'm not flying around. So. Oh, there we go. Of course, like Christmas song, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. That's perfect. That is perfect. It has rained. I mean, not every day, but a surprising amount of rain this year. It's also been cooler than normal this year, but. Oh, safe travels tomorrow. That's great. You get to go spend the day with some family there. Oh, thanks, Victoria. Thanks for sharing the channel with Marie. Kim's asking, am I happy with the camper? I absolutely love this trailer. When I'm parked, it's a little bit of a challenge. I'm still working on a few challenges with when I'm actually traveling. And it's really, there's only two big real things there. One is fuel efficiency, because I'm at like 10 miles a gallon, which is pretty much what I expected. I figured 10, 12, maybe if I was lucky. And so I'm right at 10.3 on my average coming down here. But gas prices went crazy high right before I started traveling, which I had not budgeted for. So now, and I went to Texas and New Mexico, then Arizona. So I went more than twice as far as I could have if I did a straight line. But I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. So that was a challenge. Presumably someday I'll upgrade the van. When I do, I will definitely be thinking about vehicles that have a little better fuel efficiency while towing. Some of the newer trucks and stuff do a lot better with towing a not too heavy camper. And it was also a challenge where, and this is just because I'm used to being in a van. I'm used to being able to be impulsive and do things last minute and turn around and go back and see something interesting. And so it was a little more challenging with being on the when actually traveling, we're having to plan ahead more. And but I'll get used to that. It was just but I love the experience. It's just really comfortable having the extra room and space and be able to walk around. It's I had to laugh. I saw not too long ago in the news, there's a news story about the size of those studio apartments in New York City, and they're like the same size or smaller than my trailer. So basically I just have a studio apartment that's mobile and I can move it wherever I want. So yeah, volunteering at RTR or any kind of that, volunteering is a great way to meet people. If you'll meet a lot of people that way. So I always say when people ask me, how do you meet people? And I mean, you're going to organically meet people if you're traveling in nomad circles or snowbird circles. But if you go to events, you're going to meet a lot more people. And then if you volunteer at an event, I mean, that's really setting you up to meet a whole lot of people. Yeah, that was probably one of the nicest places in the country this year, over San Diego. It was we were up in Wyoming. May was like in the 60s every day. It was gorgeous. It's never that nice in Wyoming for that big a period of time in the spring because it usually goes from like cold to hot. It was gorgeous in May, and then the 1st of June came and it went right into the 90s, and it was just, yeah, it was crazy all summer after that. So. Let's see. Oh, Victoria. That's just that. We leave the stuff on the shelves. I have things on the wall behind the desk, like pictures and stuff. And there's you generally put those up with double-sided the Velcro that's sticky on both sides. And the reason I use that is I can pry them off again if I want to take them down and remove them. But I don't have to worry about screwing things. And those stay up nicely. The stuff that's on the shelf behind me actually comes down. There's usually not this much. If I pivot a little, there's usually not quite that much stuff up there. The license plates stay up nicely because they're screwed into the wall. But I have like some Christmas cards and stuff, a couple gifts that my parents sent out. But normally there's fewer things up there. And so like the cameras and the microphone and stuff, I just take down when I am traveling because I'm parked for quite a while. If I was traveling, like moving every day, I probably wouldn't put stuff back up. But so that's just, because I'm like staying, I don't move the trailer very often. So maybe every couple of weeks I go dump tanks or something. So then I'll pull them down. But yeah, they would definitely go flying if I left them up there because they're not like attached to the shelf or anything. Yeah, the heating and cooling. I mean, there's an idea that gets propagated a lot. You just chase 70 and just go to warmer places if it's cold or cooler places warm. And that's great to the extent that it works. But when you get like record-setting heat waves across the whole West, or when you have cold fronts that come through and encompass the whole Western U.S. or hundreds of miles, sometimes you just can't do it because it's not practical or it's just too expensive to reposition far enough away from where you're at to get nice weather. So it doesn't always work. And with the trailer here, for example, and I at least have the option of if I can find a place I can plug in, then I can run air conditioning and heat, and not have to worry about it. I did have an air conditioner on the van for a while, but then you still have to be able to plug in to run it. So it wasn't running on solar. It would be, I don't think it's impossible. I've seen people do it, but it's pretty difficult to get a big enough solar setup and battery bank to run even a small air conditioner for more than a very short time without being plugged in. Okay. Yeah, the fuel if that's with the van running empty. Well, not more with just a camper van without towing the trailer. I'm usually about 18 on open roads, and that's going from the minivan where I got 26 to 28 on open roads, then to the full size van is like 18 miles a gallon. That's an adjustment, and then you go to to that to the trailer. So it's like yeah, I definitely have to plan my times I'm moving the trailer to where I'm going as short as possible, especially with fuel prices being what they are. It looks like the rain's going around today. And Matilda, I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. Yes, I'm sure you'll see me because I will definitely be there. And it's not, when I used to do it on BLM of the Desert, it was spread out a lot more. So I think might have been easier to miss people. But the town park they're at, I mean, it's a small enough area that I think you'll be able to see most people you're looking for if you're keeping an eye out for them. So. Yeah, Brandon's a four-door Tacoma and pulling the trailer. I am that is actually on the short list of things I would be considering. My son and daughter-in-law that I bought the trailer from, he has a Tacoma, and that's what they towed it with. And they didn't tow it extensively. They did do several long trips with it, and he said it towed just fine. That's one of the weird things. Like this van is it's a 2005 Super E350 Super Duty, so the 1-ton heavy duty van. It's got a 5.4 gas V8 in it, which was the biggest one you could get in that van, except for the diesel. But it only puts out, I think, 260 horsepower or something. And you look at some of the newer pickup trucks, and even with smaller motors or similar size motors, they're putting out 400, 450 horsepower. So I would assume that's the deal with the Toyotas too. I know that the Toyota Tundra, the new ones, they're putting out like 450 horse. So I mean, it's incredible power difference. So that would make towing a lot easier. That's the other thing is with this van. It does it, and it does it fine on flat ground. But if I get a really long grade or a strong headwind, it's just working harder than I would like it to work over the long term. So just the maintenance costs when you're working too hard start adding up. So yeah, gas is just boy. I only hardly traveled all summer. I literally went. I shared it somewhere, maybe in a video or whatever. But I literally went in midsummer. I had a 5-week period. Went to the gas station. I'm like, when was the last time I gas? And I pull up my fuel app, and I went 5 weeks on half a tank of gas because I just wasn't really going anywhere. So I wasn't paying too much attention to the overall gas prices, other than right in town, and I rounded up a little bit, and it was a bit of a shock. So. Oh, that's cool. I have to keep that in mind. I know Deborah's done that with a few things in her RV. But there are a few things I could probably use to stick down. But I have a few things I put in the sink, like a couple of anything that doesn't, a few loose kitchen things that they'll go in the sink when I travel, and then that stuff comes down, and that's pretty much it. I have a walking stick that's pretty well mounted in the corner. The hats I got good hooks for, so they don't fall down. They're mostly decorative, anyways. Everything else has stayed up pretty good. This sign here, actually, my brother made. This is a solid maple plank, and that's put up with, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 strips of industrial Velcro. That has not moved, and it's been trailered 3,000 miles now, bouncing down the road. I did find, speaking of stuff flying, I thought, oh, good, I got an RV. I don't have to worry with the cabinets. My kitchen cabinets underneath the sink, and the ones above the sink, and the ones over the refrigerator, I have to put gear ties or bungee cords on the knobs, or else as soon as I start driving, the doors pop open and everything goes flying. So that's that was coming down from Wyoming. My first stop, I stopped for gas or something. Opened the back door. I think I was getting a drink out of the fridge or something like that. But I grabbed the trailer, opened the door, and stuff's like rolling out the door into the parking lot. I'm like, oh man, everything was what a mess. I just left it and dealt with it when I got parked that night. All right, I am going to pour a little quick commercial here so I can get a drink, and we will be right back. I have like a couple of these couple minute not commercials, but a little Christmas music with some slides, and I'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Got some eggnog going. I think my hair is a little starting to fly away on me a little bit there, but um, got some eggnog. I insisted. I say maybe doing not much of anything this year for Christmas, but got to do some things, So I have some eggnog and this cool Wyoming cup mug that my son gave me this fall. The whole time I've been on the road in the vans and stuff, I've always had like travel mugs, and that was it, or maybe a steel camp mug. And so he decided I was in a trailer. Now I needed a good mug. So you may have seen this a few times before in videos and stuff, but this is serving as the eggnog mug tonight. All right, so there's a few comments I missed. I'm trying to keep up many answer as many comments or address as many comments as I can as things are going here. Um, Brenda asks, "What is my opinion of the way the nomad lifestyle has changed? Is it still a good option for someone? It seems like things have gotten so difficult and crowded." Man, this is it has changed, and I've only been doing this, going 6 years now. So I'll be going to starting my 7th year here this week, and I think sometimes what are the people who've been doing it for like 10 years or 12 years, and there aren't a ton of them, but there are some. How much the change for them? So, yeah, definitely a lot more people out here than there used to be. On one hand, especially, I don't know how much of this is just post-pandemic stuff and how much will settle down, but it has been, challenging finding, especially around popular spots. It has been challenging sometimes finding like places, but I still am able to find, and I'm going places I've been before, and there's like way more people than I've ever seen, but I'm still able to find places to go. Sometimes you have to get off the beaten path a little more, or be a little more creative, or be more off season. But I am still finding stuff. It definitely a lot more people than there used to be. So I think some of that might settle down in the next year or two after, as I think some of it's the post-pandemic thing. More people traveling by ground and stuff. Thanksgiving coming across ahead of Thanksgiving from New Mexico over to Arizona, I could not believe the traffic, and even at gas stations and stuff, you couldn't even get into a gas station. I've just never seen it like that. So, but I think some of that'll settle down. But other than that, it's kind of wait and see, I guess. Melinda's just popping on for a minute. Merry Christmas, Melinda. Thanks for popping in. And then Katie was asking if I used a solar oven and what do I think about them? I have not actually used one myself. I think they're a pretty interesting concept, pretty interesting idea, and it's something that would be fun to try probably. And in the past with a van, I just didn't have the room to carry something that I could use sometimes, but not all the time. Even though it might be nice when I could use it. But I mean, you need decent sun. Then you need like not so windy it's going to blow away or something. So that the places I hang out, that's that's not as many days as I might like, but they do seem pretty cool. And maybe someday I'll get one to try. I have a little more room these days. Some of them get pretty pricey, but there's there's some DIY options, and maybe I'll give one a try sometime. So. Debra Lewis from Colorado, welcome, and blessed Christmas Eve to you as well. I keep thinking now that I have the trailer, maybe I should get a couple plants or something, but I have not attempted it yet. Gas prices get lower. What I keep reading is that they're expecting they'll come down a little bit next year. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I hope that they get. That would be a lot easier. Like I am hoping they're cheaper by next fall when I'm traveling again. I'm not holding my breath for it to be a lot cheaper by spring when I'm heading north again. But although it would be nice, so with it being Christmas holidays, I attempted to find some Christmas cookies when I was at the store this week. I don't eat cookies very often, but I mean, hey, it's Christmas, right? So this is the best I could find. And I'll tell you what, these are cookies. They are cookies, but they are not proper Christmas cookies. My mother makes proper Christmas cookies. Every Christmas Eve, we had these, not just when I was growing up. She still does it. My sister made some this year, too. And these are proper Christmas cookies, in my opinion, with my tradition. Gold Christmas tree cookies that my mother make, and she does her cooks them, makes the dough from scratch, then runs into a press to get the cookie shape, and then of course bakes them. So they're little and they're cute. But this is actually a batch my sister made. This picture here is a batch my sister made today or yesterday or something. So that's my idea of Christmas cookies. So these other ones, they just don't quite cut it. But eggnog is eggnog, I guess. So I got that anyways. Now I was thinking my mother also always made cranberry bread for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and stuff, and I was thinking about, I have done that in the past, but I wasn't up to tackling it in the Dutch oven, and it's been windy today, and so I actually thought about, I did pick up some dried cranberries. So I thought about doing like bannock bread with cranberries in them, but I did not get around to it. I just ran out of time. So going to church for Christmas and singing carols together. I was thinking earlier, my sister shared a picture. She'd gone to a Christmas Eve service tonight with some of her family, and they had the candles, in the picture. And it brought back this memory a couple of years ago when I think it was the last time I was up in Wyoming for Christmas. But anyways, a couple of years ago, I was up there for Christmas and went with my daughter-in-law, and granddaughters, and went to a Christmas Eve service. So they had the candles going, and I'm like hysterical. Like, I mean, you got these. At the time, we must have been 5 and 6 year olds with candles, and I was sure they were going to light somebody's hair on fire, somebody's clothes on fire. But fortunately, nothing happened. Oh boy. Oh, Patty, yeah, we didn't quite connect this year. I will be at the RTR, so definitely come up and say hello. I will definitely be there. So-called split. Well, at least they got watered. Oh man. Okay, Brenda remembers that. They now my mother had this press. I think it was her grandmother's or something. This cookie press, and so of course we all learned to do it too. And they got burned up in a house fire some years ago, and somebody found one for her. I think it might have been my brother, but I might have that wrong. But somebody found another one for her, just like the one she had in an antique box. I mean, so she's now able to make proper Christmas cookies again. So. It could use to be. It's Oh, just getting started on eggnog. We were sharing notes, my brother and sister and I earlier. We all had plans for eggnog this evening. Let me see. What else I got on my uh, thing here? Oh, I was going to mention, let's see, I already mentioned it. I guess that we're going to do another one of these live streams next week for New Year's Eve. And with a little luck, I'll make it till 10 o'clock so we can, we won't be able to see the ball drop, but, we'll do something fun for those. Because, I mean, it's, that's like when the U.S., at least, it hits the New Year is 10 o'clock, and I never make it till midnight, our time out here for the New Year. And then, yep. Oh, I know the other one I was going to share. I got an exciting video coming up on Monday that I'm super stoked. The Gia Cliff Dwellings. I went there in November when I was in Silver City, New Mexico, waiting to go to Cocoa Fest 21 at City of Rock State Park. As I finally got the video edited, and just today I got it uploaded, so that'll be going up on Monday. That's a really cool place, probably the coolest place I've been the entire year. So looking forward to sharing that. And I had another video will come up soon of some sort. I did a recent video. I talked about what's in my bag, and one of the things I mentioned was I need to get a personal satellite locator thing, personal locator beacon, just in case I ever have a true emergency when I'm out in the backcountry. So my parents ordered me one, sent it to me for my birthday. I think there was a comment along the lines that they'll feel better. So I will be doing a video about this soon, because that is one important piece of gear that I did not have. These kind of things are the last ditch. I mean, just last ditch effort, last resort. You don't use these things unless you're having a really bad day. But if that ever happens, I mean, it'd be nice to have one if you're somewhere you don't have cell phone coverage, which, I've been known to go places like that when I'm hiking. So. Oh, that sounds like fun. I've never actually used one of those. That would be fun. Yeah, that's. I think I can't remember if she had a pull handle or if it was just a push. But it did have the changeable discs, and that was the. I mean, she probably used some other ones at some point, but that was the one I got used the most, was the little Christmas tree cutout, and so it was just. No, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very nice. So. Oh, there you go. You got two monitors. You can watch the ball drop on one. That was, living in New York for so many years. That was just kind of like the thing you did when you were out on New Year's Eve. Is to watch that. Always a little bit anticlimactic though. Like it seems like it should, I don't know, fall faster, or I don't know. It just seems a little bit. All that excitement, and it's just this gentle descent of. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think I'm going to. I've run out of things on my list, and it's just the first time I watched it, I was so excited. I was like, "That's it." Oh, thank you. And I always people say they follow, no comment. I have a lot of channels I follow, and I'm terrible about leaving comments. I mean, once in a while, but where some of the channels I follow too, if like you go and watch a video, it's like already 3,000 comments. It's like nobody's gonna see anything else at that point. But no, I do appreciate people leave comments or join a live stream and make a message here. It's nice to know that people are following along instead of just just a number. So, all right. Well, it's getting to be we've been on for an hour here, so I think we'll go ahead and wind this down. I really appreciate everybody joining. I'm sure some of you have other things to do this evening, getting ready for tomorrow, but hopefully it was a fun live stream tonight. Like I said, we will be back on next week. I'll do it again for New Year's Eve, and I am planning some special video clips for that one. like some year in review things like that and stuff. So you know, we can have some things like that in addition to just talking. Less some little videos to play as well that I think will be fun. So I have a as we wind it down, I got a outro that is the same song we came in with, but the scenes are a little bit different. So hopefully that'll be fun. But thanks for joining, everyone. I appreciate it. And here's a little outro to wrap up this live stream for Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. We'll see you again for New Year's Eve if you're available and want to join again. Thanks for joining tonight. I appreciate it.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light. While we're dancing around the Christmas tree. Hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door. Lovely songs we all heard before. As they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. We're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy